The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Pod at the Palace post-game report card. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Happy Sunday. Shout out to the Coffee Club. It turns out the sun did rise this morning despite Arkansas' 69-66 loss at Michigan State last night to fall to 1-1 on the season. Oh, man. If Saturday's post-game show was any indication, I will probably be called out today for being both too negative and too much of a homer at the same time. Seems to be how it goes, which is fine. You know, we break down these games and these performances in their own little vacuum, their own little world. Each game takes on a life, an identity of its own. The more I think about this game in particular, if I'm being honest with you guys, the more pissed off I get about it because, I feel like Arkansas really took a chance in scheduling a true road game like this early in the season. It was just a huge opportunity. And, Arkansas didn't play particularly well on either end of the floor, and they still had about a dozen shots to win it in the last couple minutes. But you didn't. So there are reasons to be encouraged. There are reasons maybe not to be discouraged, but to be frustrated. I get it. I understand it from both angles here. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being honest about what went wrong in a narrow loss and, an opportunity squandered without, I still love the idea of what this team is going to develop into as we keep moving forward. So I also think it's pretty easy to come to terms with Arkansas should have won that basketball game, but there's also no shame in losing at Michigan State. It doesn't have to be an either or. It's like the great Andrew Ellis says, two things can be true at once, right? But as always, we're going to start with the team stuff, offense and defense specifically, and then we'll get to the player grades. And remember, these are not player-to-player comparisons. These are individual grades based on what we expect and what we've seen from these guys individually and based on their matchups. So if someone gets in the comments and they say, well, how did player A get this grade, but player B got that grade? I will just point you back to what I said right here. We get that all the time. And that's just not what this is. So that's how you want to feel about it, then that's your prerogative. At any rate, today's episode is presented to you by our friends over at OZK Insurance. Nobody wants to deal with the hassle of shopping around. That's why I use and recommend OZK Insurance. They're based right here in Arkansas, and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage and price for you, whether it's home, auto, business, you name it. Whether it's Saturdays at Razorback Stadium or everyday life, you want protection you can count on. Well, with over 600 five-star Google reviews, OZK Insurance might be exactly that. Get a free online quote at ozkinsurance.com or call 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. Okay, let's start with Arkansas offensively. And I don't know, maybe this is going to sound harsh. Oh, well, I'm going to go with a D. This is the same team, by the way, that was averaging like 95 points per game in the three outings that we've seen them here so far. So, understand the standard that they have set for themselves here. And it's not that I expected Arkansas to go score 95 at Michigan State, but I expected them to not score 23 points less than they have on anyone else. Was it reasonable to expect more than 66 in this game? I expected them not to shoot, 10+% lower from the field than they have against anyone else, or, I expected them to shoot better than 25% from three based on what we've seen. I expected them to not fall back into the old habits of not making free throws, 15 to 23, 65.2% in a game that you lose by 3 points. So all that while committing 14 turnovers, most of which were honestly a little bit careless and self-inflicted, if we're being honest. So I don't know, man. 7 to 28 from three, too many attempts, but they were settling. Not running the actions to get those paint touches that you need to get the drive and kick rhythm opportunities, the higher percentage looks. Outside of transition, show me what Arkansas consistently did well on that end of the floor in this game. There were some great individual plays, no doubt about it. There were some sets here and there that I thought generated some really good looks, especially out of timeouts. They drew up some quick hitters and got buckets out of them. But for the most part, Michigan State kind of shut down the driving lanes. They took away the middle ball screen. And I thought Arkansas found themselves settling too often. They were taking the shots for the most part that Michigan State wanted them to. And you see the result. The last play I thought was frustrating. It was not drawn up for Trevin. He was kind of the safety valve release guy there. And it looks like it might have been for Acuff to come in as the inbounder, maybe come off of a pin down and get an open look, or it could have been for, Trevin to swing over to Leak and let him make the decision, and they go set him a double staggered for Acuff. Something along those lines there, but it was not, hey, let's lob this thing over the top to Trevin and then him shoot a step back three. That was not what they drew up. But the execution was all off. Very well defended by Michigan State, but wish they would have come up with a better look than that there at the end for sure. So, we mentioned pregame, if this became more of a grinder, like a half-court affair, it would be advantage Michigan State at home, and that turned out to be the case in this game. So no team's going to be a finished product this early in the season. Michigan State profiles as a team that's going to be really good on the defensive end. We knew that the physicality and everything were going to be there, but I certainly expected a better showing on that front from Arkansas than we got in this game. Defensively, this one's a little bit tricky, to tell you the truth. I'm going to go C-, I think, for Arkansas defensively in this game. The box score stats, I pulled it up here for you. It suggests that this should be much higher of a grade, probably. You only allowed 69 points against a ranked opponent in their house. You forced 14 turnovers, which is good. You hold them to 41% from the field, and they only made 1 3. You only gave up 1 damn three-pointer, and you lost the basketball game. You held them about a dozen free throw attempts below their norms. Like, these are all good things that you can build off. Arkansas is going to be in a good spot defensively this season. I'm confident in that. But guess what? None of it matters if you can't close defensive possessions by securing a rebound. And I feel for anybody who has PTSD from the NCAA tournament last year, or the Tennessee game last year, or the Florida game last year, because Arkansas got worked on the glass once again. Michigan State, they missed 36 shots this entire game. They grabbed 19 offensive rebounds. They rebounded over half of their own misses. How does that happen? How the heck does that happen when you're just night and day more athletic than the opposite team? 19 offensive boards is crazy to me. Now, they didn't get killed because of it with second chance points. They did a pretty good job of limiting those given the circumstances, but those are extra possessions then that you have to defend that might take your legs away for some of these shots that you wound up missing. You can't give up 19 offensive rebounds and expect to go beat somebody. I don't care if they go 1 of 14 from 3. So that stinks, man. And some of it's having to play 4 guards most of the game because you didn't want to go get an insurance big man out of the portal and you had foul trouble. The rest is, I don't know, some combination of positioning and effort and physicality, strength, whatever. Arkansas minus 18 in paint points in this game. I mean, you've got 3 seniors in your front court rotation, and you let a true freshman go for 18-10. Double-double on you. And it sucks, man, because Arkansas's first shot defense is largely really good. There was a stretch where they were getting cooked time and time again for a few minutes with their ball screen defense, with the same Clyde cuts that they run religiously. Arkansas does. How many times did Fears turn the corner on a ball screen or dribble handoff, and next thing you know, you got a baseline cutter and it's a dunk. There's nobody around him because you're ball watching. That happened to Arkansas far too many times. It was a little bit irritating. They eventually cleaned it up and they made a run because of it. But you get some fresh mistakes going on here and there, which is to be expected. Some communication stuff, late rotations, things that you see early in seasons from time to time. Some of it was having to play weird lineups. I get all that. So I'm not super concerned about that type of stuff, but I am about the rebounding at this point. And I thought this was going to be a really good rebounding team. Right now, it's just not. And I think they can still fix that and certainly be improved from last year. But, I was thinking it might be one of the strengths of the team. I just haven't seen anything in these games that they've been playing that would make me feel like that's actually going to be the case. So maybe it flips on its head. I hope it does. So, no, Arkansas did not play well on Saturday. They had moments, but I think you also got to credit Michigan State, right? Very well coached, tough as hell, great home environment there. They had a great game plan. They executed it. Michigan State was certainly a part of the reason why you look bad at sometimes. So I don't want to take anything away from the Spartans in this game. I'm thinking about, we had our 5 stat sheet musts from pregame. Arkansas was 2 of 5 on those. Keep it like a single digit free throw attempts disparity. Check. You were within 3. That was huge. Make up the difference there from 3. Well, Arkansas was plus 18 from beyond the arc. They hit 7 threes. Michigan State hit 1. But we gave the goal of like 13 offensive rebounds or under. They gave up 19, had 25 fast break points. That's a good number for Arkansas. They finished with 18. You wondered why I went that high. Look how good Arkansas looked in transition versus how they looked in the half court. And then we set that magic number of 80, saying, hey, Arkansas probably doesn't have to score 80 to win the game. Turns out they just had to score 70. But if they got to that number, they would win. And I stand on that. They didn't get there. So a 1 possession loss for the Hogs. And I don't know. You lick your wounds. You got to get back after it because UCA is coming to town on Tuesday. And you got really 4 what should be tune-ups, but opportunities to get better and get ready for Duke on Thanksgiving Day. So some of our prop plays did hit though. Like the Malik Thomas threes and field goal attempts, that was the highest odds, plus 450. That one cashed for sure, which is honestly a nice segue because this episode is brought to you by our friends over at BetSaracen. It's Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Check out BetSaracen's no strings attached special where new users can bet $25 real cash bet and get $125 instantly. You heard me right. Download the BetSaracen app by clicking scanning the QR code below there on your screen and use promo code INSIDEAR. You'll get $125 instantly when you bet your first $25. It's BetSaracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Okay. Let's get into the player grades here. No MVP, obviously, in this game. We give an A+ to the MVP in wins, and so we're not going to do that in a losing effort. So I'm just going to start at the top of the box score and kind of work my way down here through it. Darius Acuff first up. I'll give Cuff a B-. He was all right. It was an inefficient 16 points, 5 of 16 from the field. He was 2 of 8 from 3. You look at that and he was 2 makes away from being like a very clear A in this one. If you look up and he had 21 points and he was, 7 of 16 from the field and had a third 3-pointer. And then you look at that 6-to-1 assist to turnover ratio in your first hostile environment, first true road test. That's really, really good. So would like to see another couple shots fall, whatever. He was better defending on ball than I expected him to be by quite a bit, actually. He did a really good job. I'll give him credit there. That was encouraging to see, something to work on or something to build on moving forward. Do need to see him maybe initiating the offense more assertively. Like, you're the point guard, kind of the straw that stirs the drink there in the half-court offense, and that's where Arkansas really struggled. So some of that's going to fall back on him. The other guys didn't help much. But I just didn't feel like he was navigating those ball screens and putting pressure on the defense like he typically does. Some of it, his bigs weren't staying big and setting the screen. It was a little bit lazy. It's kind of like you jog out there, you don't set it, and then you roll. It doesn't do you a whole lot of good. So again, it's a two-way street with some of that. But he did kind of have a case of the freshman fuzzies at the end of the game there, unfortunately. Missed a crucial front end of a 1-and-1 with under 3 minutes left. I think it was a 1-possession game at the time. Had a no-pass possession with, under a minute and a half there. It's a 1-point game, and he tried to get downhill. He had the 7-footer there on his hip. He still attempted the shot. I don't know if they gave him a turnover for it or a shot attempt, but the big guy stayed tall. Like, there was contact, but it was verticality. I don't know. And it was initiated by Darius. So I'm okay, I think, with the no call there. But boy, you would like to get a better look maybe. So you had that. Then the next trip down defensively, Arkansas plays great defense for 28 seconds, and then he got baited by Jeremy Fears and left his feet at the end of the shot clock, fouled a three-point shooter that was consequential. Man, they were 1 of 14 from three. And Jeremy Fears didn't make a shot. He had not made a shot the entire game. Why leave your feet? Why foul there? So that's a freshman thing, appreciate him trying to contest and all that, but just get a high hand. And if that dude makes his first shot of the game and it's Michigan State's second three of the game and you got a hand right in his eyeball, oh well. But it's like we said before the game, he's a masturbator of fouls. And he got Trevin on one and he got Darius there, and it was a big one. And he had another shot to tie it after that, 3-pointer, pretty decent look, and missed it. So a lot of good stuff to learn from for Acuff there. He grew up in this one. I've got full confidence in Darius Acuff moving forward. Zero doubt about that. But that final stretch could have gone a lot better than it did. I wish it would have, and I'm sure he does too. Trevin Brazil next. F. Right? I mean, if we're grading these dudes based on their individual expectations, where else would we go with this? It's again, I don't want to be too harsh or anything. It was a close loss on the road to a ranked opponent. I get that, but in a game where, TB, that's my guy, he had a complete matchup advantage and it was kind of a no-show. And it's just true. Like he knows it. Cal knows it. I'm sure it's a frustrating night. I know it was a frustrating night for Trevin, no doubt, given some of the things that happened afterwards there. But, he picked up 2 fouls there early in the first half. He sat and watched for a long stretch. And then right away in the second half, you just got to know who you're guarding. You got to have some awareness of the situation there. Was it cheap? Did he get baited? Could the call have gone a different way? Was it a flop? Whatever with Fears, maybe all those things are true, but you just can't pick up a third foul there early in the second half. That was a killer. Completely changed the momentum of the game there. Arkansas is leading, come out of halftime, and next thing you know, they're behind by multiple possessions. Even on an off night, if Trevin Brazil is out there on that floor for 25 plus minutes, Arkansas wins that game, period. But you only got 16 out of him. If you have him for just a normal amount of minutes, you don't get demolished on the glass the way you did. You probably don't get nearly doubled up in paint points. But instead, they were in a position where they were having to play, one of the few teams in the country that has a double big lineup with Carter Knox for long stretches as a power forward. It screwed up everything. I liked Trevin's effort defensively when he was back in there. He was fighting for positioning. He was getting deflections. That was really good to see. Should not have taken that final shot, probably. Like, he had 4.8 seconds when you caught the ball. But it is what it is. But at the end of the day, Trevin is a guy you have to be able to rely on in games like this. And 3 points, 2 boards, 2 turnovers in 16 minutes. Arkansas has no depth at the 4. None. 0. It's him. And then some guards. Nights like this just have to be few and far between. And I will say, who am I to say what was intentional or what wasn't, what was an accident, but tough look that got caught on camera there of him smacking a Michigan State fan in the face with a towel as he was leaving the court. I hope it was an accident, and I hope nothing comes of it, but didn't like seeing that. DJ Wagner, hey, A-. I mean, maybe the best development to come out of East Lansing was DJ Wagner just looking comfortable out there. He looked like himself again, and he was good for it physically. We knew that. This was a game that he has the potential to thrive in with his style of play. I thought he came up really huge early when Arkansas was settling in. He scored like 7 straight or something. 13 points on 6 shots. He hit a couple threes. He had 3 steals on the defensive end. If you can give me every night what DJ Wagner gave Arkansas on this one, nothing more and nothing less, I'd sign up for it. I'd take it every time. So I'm really happy for DJ. That was good to see. And because of it, and then you think about the way the game ended with the lineups out there, I wonder how much 3-guard we're going to be seeing moving forward with DJ, Acuff, and Leak sharing the floor together. Your wings better start picking it up. That's all I'm going to say about that, man. Because we know how Cal feels about DJ. And so if he's rolling, he's going to be out there on the floor. And, then if you're 2 freshmen or your 2 best players, and I don't know. Nick Pringle. I'm going to give out B+, maybe. I thought he was pretty good, man. Nick Pringle's a dog. And we had some people on our post-game show that were kind of lumping him in with the other bigs and, frustrated him because of the rebounding thing. I don't think that was a Nick Pringle problem, man. He was awesome for Arkansas defensively, was really physical in there. Led the team in rebounds with 7. If you wanted him to get 15 or something, then okay. But, he still led the team. He was awesome as a post defender against Kohler. He didn't take the bait. He walled up. It was so annoying. I love Bill Raftery, but and those guys, but it's like, oh, look at Jackson Kohler and the footwork, the fundamentals. Oh, he's gonna go to work here. And Nick Pringle was just defending him, not getting baited into fouls and forcing miss after miss after miss after miss. And nobody was really saying, wow, great job on the interior by Nick Pringle. He's, oh, look at his footwork. It's cute. You got to make the shot. He didn't. That's why you brought Nick in here, man. He blocked 3 shots. He had 2 steals, a couple dunks. Really could have used maybe one more of those free throws. Or it would have been nice to have him at the very end where he could be guy who set a screen and actually help execute that inbounds play. He was fouled out. He fouled out with 15 seconds left, but 6 points, 7 rebounds. I thought Nick looked really good. Billy Richmond, Billy was fine. B- for Billy. Wasn't his best game, but he was a hell of a lot better than he was against Southern. I thought he was pretty impactful in there. I feel like Billy just needs to go back to the bench mob. What do you guys think about that? Like, it just seems like when Billy starts a game, he's I don't know if he's a little too amped up or he just needs to settle in or whatever. He had a couple pretty careless early turnovers that were costly. Had some stuff on the other end. He just seemed out of sorts, maybe to the point where I was kind of saying to my screen, like, man, they might need to get him out of there. And then they did. He checks back in. He was so much better after that. He did a lot of really good things. I loved his rim attacks in a game like this. He's fearless in there. And listen, I'm glad that Billy hit a 3. I don't know that we need to see 4 Billy Richmond perimeter jumpers in a basketball game at this stage. He's just too good getting downhill, and he's a pretty good free throw shooter. He's probably going to draw a foul. Like to see him maybe serve more in a basket cutting variety. Just 4 threes feels like too many for me. But hey, 8.6 boards. Thought Billy was solid. Maybe not quite as impactful defensively as he normally is, but riddle me this though. Billy subbed out at the 7:06 mark of this game, and we never saw him again. So I go back to that 3-guard look for Arkansas, and if they found something there that they liked, because I didn't feel like Billy was playing poorly at the time. Maybe there was a couple plays in there defensively that I'd have to go back and watch, but he didn't go back in. So, and I guess they were playing from behind too and needed a little bit of offense, a little firepower, a little pop. But Malik Thomas certainly wasn't his best, but I don't think he was bad. I think he just missed some shots. Like B, maybe for Leak. Arkansas was actually +5 in 29 minutes with Leak on the floor. Yeah, that was the best plus minus on the team. I thought he did a lot of really good things in this game. Yeah, he just missed more shots than he normally does. 16 points on 15 shots. He was 2 of 9 from 3, which is rare for him. I don't feel like he struggled with the physicality as much as maybe in the back of my mind I thought he might. I thought he handled that pretty well. 6 rebounds. That's more than Malik Ewan and Trevin Brazil got you combined. So there's that. He was kind of like Acuff, where he made some plays defensively, and then maybe he had some freshman mistakes. There was a couple communication things there where him and somebody else would just be kind of sitting there with their hands up as a Michigan State player dunked it. Part of it. That's the easy stuff that they'll clean up. I'm not worried about that. He had that awesome sequence where it was late in the game. He missed a layup, but then he came up with the loose ball, the offensive rebound, and sprinted out to the arc and splashed that three. Like, that was an insane play. That was a big-time shot. But, then he had 3 opportunities to make a play late. Had a couple looks from 3 that didn't fall for him. He got the offensive rebound that got tipped back out to him, and he kind of bobbled the ball there and just tried to put up a floater, and he missed it there. So, just a couple opportunities I know he would love to have back because he's a gamer, right? He's an alpha. I think we all understand that at this point. Like, if there's a last-second shot or a crunch time play that needs to be made, he is not afraid, does not shy away from that moment. He's going to be all right. Malik Thomas is such a competitor. I bet he comes out Tuesday with his hair on fire. I feel bad for UCA because I have a feeling Leak is going to be out for a vengeance, man. Malicious intent. Who's next? Carter Knox, F. Either the toe was fine or Cal is a liar because he said if he wasn't 100%, he wasn't going to play him. So I'm not going to use the injury excuse for this one. I hate this because I'm such a huge Carter Knox guy. I think that's well documented at this point, but it's probably the worst performance he's had in a Razorback uniform. I hate it for him. 4 turnovers and 1 shot attempt. That was a 3-pointer that looked just not good. Driving into charges, just driving, ducking his head, looking for someone to drive into, falling down, heel, out of bounds on the base. Just, I don't know, just didn't seem locked in. Out of sync, never really in any sort of rhythm or flow offensively, although he did have some assists mixed in there. Defensively, listen, the entire offseason when I was on this podcast yelling into this microphone that Arkansas needed a backup 4-man for Trevin, a bunch of folks kept telling me, well, that's Carter Knox. It's Carter Knox. Carter can do it. Carter will do it. Carter's the backup 4. And what did I say? Sure. Play Carter at the 4 when you've got the favorable matchup for it. But this doesn't need to be something that Arkansas does every night out of necessity because it's not always going to be a good idea. Well, because of Trevin's foul trouble, Arkansas didn't have a choice in this game, and he struggled. Where was Michigan State doing their dirty work? It was Cam Ward, the true freshman, who cooked 18 points, 10 rebounds. A lot of that came when Carter was playing the 4. And other times he was defending like a 250-pound center. Like, what the hell do you want from him? So, he struggled with that. And I don't put all the blame on him for it. It's just a position he shouldn't have had to been in this particular game. And if you think about the difference between playing the 3 versus the 4 defensively, he is all of a sudden he's defending the screener instead of the ball handler in pick and rolls. It's foreign to him. It's an entirely different set of rules and things that you have to do in terms of coverage and knowing where to be. And I just felt like he was put in a position to fail defensively tonight because your actual 4 was ineffective and in foul trouble. So I don't want to hold that against him too much, but the other side of the coin, I think is, at the bare minimum, he should have been able to eat on the opposite end, right? And that didn't happen in this one. It's frustrating. Carter needs a get-right game in a bad way. A bad way. If he doesn't get up double-digit shot attempts against UCA, I'm going to lose my damn mind. Like, he's going to have to shoot his way into a rhythm. But you got to get him going. He's too important to this team. Even on a bad night, though, Carter Knox is a guy who he should just be able to give you much, much more than you got tonight. All SECs on draft boards. You can't go scoreless with 4 turnovers in a spotlight game there. So tough one for our man Carter. Malik Ewan, final one up here. F, unfortunately. And again, guys, I know Arkansas lost by 3 points to a ranked team on the road. I know that. But if they didn't have a few really important cogs in the operation here, completely no-show, I just feel like Arkansas should have won this game. And boy, it was an opportunity to validate a lot of things we think about this team that I still believe are going to be true. But now we just got to wait for them to prove it and to work out some more of the kinks that maybe we didn't know were there. Some that we thought might be, but, maybe they got masked in some of these exhibitions, whatever. But they got some stuff to work on. Malik Ewan, I'm sorry, 6'10", solid frame, super athletic, a guy who started and averaged 8 boards a game in the ACC last season. You guys tell me, in 33 minutes on the floor in 2 regular season games, Malik Ewan has 1 singular defensive rebound. 1. And in 25 minutes in that Memphis exhibition, he had 0 defensive rebounds. So in 58 minutes, 1 defensive board. Come on now. I will say, like, Ewan, he was out for a while. He checked back into the game with a little over 5 minutes to play. Arkansas was doing some double big stuff. And for the rest of the way there, I thought he played much closer to the type of urgency that has to be there at all times. Blocked a shot, had a big dunk. He extended a possession with an offensive rebound, which is good. Came up with a critical loose ball, got a steal in there when Arkansas really needed to stop. Like, there was some stuff in there where I was like, hey, there we go. That's what we need, big fella. Something to build off. But at the end of the day, for me, like, when your freshman guards are sticking their nose in there and making more of an impact on the backboards, something has to give. And then you go look at the analytics stuff, and he finishes with the worst defensive rating and the lowest stop percentage on the team for Arkansas on Saturday. It's pretty cut and dry. Arkansas has to get more out of Malik Ewan moving forward. They just have to. And thankfully, Nick Pringle has been better than advertised. It's like Cal said, he's kind of better at everything than they thought he was. He's better at everything than I thought he was. And he's been really solid for him here in these 2 games. But it can't come at the expense of getting nothing out of the other guy. Ewan is the one that they brought in here with the super high expectations for. Ewan is the type of guy they thought could be an all-SEC player. And right now you're just wondering, how much can we put him out there if he's not contributing much on the defensive end of the floor, on the backboards, at the center position? Like, you just have to have it. So I don't know what it's going to take to light a fire underneath him and get him going. Maybe it's just as simple as you play a can and you have a big game and it gives you some confidence and it's got you motivated moving forward. Whatever it is, though, hope it happens soon, because, if Arkansas is going to reach the heights that we want them to, or that we think that they can, he's got to be a big piece of this puzzle. And yeah, it comes offensively with all the things that he can do that can make this offense hard to guard. But right now, I'm just simply asking for rebound at the most important position on the floor for rebounding. That's it. Not a greedy man. So there you have it. I don't know. It's only deflating to me because, like, I'm looking forward to these next 4 games coming up, and they better be dialed in for them. Like, you can't afford to have any slip-ups, in these home games like this. But until Arkansas plays Duke, it's a little bit frustrating that we're going to have to hear all the same old stuff, and we're not going to have the ability to really say much about it. Cal's washed. Cal doesn't win games in these situations. Oh, Arkansas is the same as last year. Oh, it wears on you, man. And a win here, like I said, it would have just validated so much. A loss doesn't kill you. It's not going to mean a damn thing big picture. You're not going to get dinged for losing on the road to a Michigan State team that's going to win a ton of games and be up near the top of the Big Ten and be back in the NCAA tournament and all that. But opportunity squandered, man. It's crazy how one shot, one rebound, one thing here and there can make such a difference in the swing of emotion that you feel moving forward. But they'll bounce back. We'll bounce back. You'll bounce back. The sun will rise again tomorrow, just like it did today. But I'm going to get out of here for the day. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, subscribe to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And we will see you guys tomorrow with another episode of the Pod at the Palace. You guys have a good one.